When are you fighting Tom?
I was waiting for it. When are you fighting time? Like, governor. The UFC and Tom, we all got a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. They're one of the biggest organizations in sports, and right now Tom and I have agreed to.
To clarify, you said that Jon agreed to fight Tom, yes?
Jon agreed to fight Tom?
Is that what you just said there? Before, like on the last answer, you said...
Jon agreed to fight Tom, yes.
So but he hasn't signed a contract or anything.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
I mean, you guys have heard me for the last however long. I said, I guarantee you this fight's going to happen. This fight's going to happen. Fight's going to happen. You guys told me the crazy shit that was going on Instagram and all these other places. But yes, I've been saying Jon is going to...
Finally, it happened. Jon Jones has said yes to the fight that the whole UFC world has been screaming for. He's finally accepted the challenge from Tom Aspinall. Over 200,000 fans signed a petition begging for this match. The pressure was insane, and now Jon's finally caved. But hold on. He didn't accept quietly. He accepted with a threat. A loud, bold, spine-chilling threat. This whole time, Jones has been insulted, mocked, dragged through the dirt for dodging the fight. Fans called him scared. Analysts doubted his legacy. Everyone thought he was ducking Tom. But Jon, he's had enough of the noise.
I see quite a few people here calling me a duck. I'm a duck. Call me a duck. Call me a chicken. Call me a goat. Call me a dog. I'm not in high school anymore, guys. A grown man out here chasing his dreams. It's funny that we really live in a world where being called a duck should affect me. Guys, come on.
Jon feels totally disrespected. After everything he's done in this sport, he couldn't believe how fans turned on him so fast. It hit him hard. So he fired back with a warning to Tom Aspinall, to the fans, to everyone watching. He's going to do a full training camp, not half-hearted, not lazy. He's going to prepare like never before, and when that octagon door closes, he says he'll show the world why he's the greatest, and it won't be pretty.
Right now, and I would still be in the same place of I've beat people my whole career, and once I beat them, like the show just goes on. Like I get that Tom is an exciting fighter. I get that finally, after 16 years, we found somebody who's 7 years younger than me and 30 pounds bigger than me. Like, we finally found someone who may give me a great challenge. And everyone wants to see it so bad. But for me, it's like, what is it? What's in it for me? He changes nothing.
He made the announcement where he always does on X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm taking the fight. I've accepted the offer. I don't have a date yet, but it's happening. After I do a full camp, and trust me, it's going to be violent. This ends the GOAT debate. Those were Jon's exact words. No filters, no apologies. He wants to settle the legacy talk once and for all with blood, sweat, and domination.
Obviously, you know, this Jon Jones thing is what a lot of people are talking about. I wonder, is there anything that PFL or Francis could do to make that a realistic option for you guys, or are you fully focused on Aspinall?
Yeah, it's Aspinall's fight. I mean, we've been talking to this kid forever about it, and it's his.
But here's where things got even more intense. His old rival, Daniel Cormier, had been throwing shade too, publicly, loudly. DC has been vocal about Jon avoiding Tom. He made it clear if he were in Jones's place, he would have taken that fight without hesitation. Maybe that's what finally pushed Jon over the edge. And when Jon claps back, he goes all in. He tweeted straight at them. Jon Jones whooped both of y'all. Then he added, why not team up on a podcast and gossip about me while I make your yearly salary in a week? It was brutal, ruthless. Classic Jones.
Okay, so I feel like narratives have been created that just truly aren't there. You can't duck a man that you were never scheduled to fight. It's like saying you got turned down by a girl who you never even hit on. You know what I'm saying? It's like me and Dana and Hunter have never sat down and talked about Tom Aspinall. He's never been on my radar. I mean, just a moment ago, it was him and Sergey that was fighting. And Sergey could be in this position right now.
Jon Jones just won't. He pressure. Just pressure, guys. He's on the pressure, and I don't even know what I did to him. Look, we did this a couple weeks ago, and I thought we were done with it. But finally, it seems as though it's reached a little bit of a boiling point. Now, there's things from both sides, and we will get into that as the video goes on.
Daniel Cormier, never one to back down, hit back on his YouTube channel. He said, There's all this noise about Francis Ngannou, about this and that, but the real thing to do, fight the kid, fight Tom. And if Jon wins, Cormier said it'd be the ultimate mic drop. Nothing feels better to a guy like Jon Jones than beating the one guy everyone thought could take him out and saying, "What did I tell you?" He's not wrong. That's Jon's style. Prove everyone wrong, then rub it in. But Daniel also said Jon has to take that risk first, and up until now, he hadn't.
But first and foremost, a couple weeks ago, I said to Jon Jones, go fight Tom Aspinall, leave me alone. I thought it was good. Chael and I host a podcast. Chael and I are on The Ultimate Fighter together. Chael and I are tasked with talking about the biggest news in the sports of mixed martial arts. It seems as though Jon Jones does not like being talked about by two of the biggest voices in this.
Cormier went deeper. We fought them all, he said. If I was still the champ and Tom was #1 contender, I'd already have taken that fight. No hesitation. He said knowing the danger would have made him train even harder. It would have lit a fire inside. But what Jon's been doing, it doesn't sit right with him. DC's watched Jon dominate for years, but now something feels off. Why the delay? Why the stalling?
Chael and I were discussing Jon Jones last week on our show. I think it was ESPN. And it prompted this. First off, it's very weird, all right, talking about yourself in the third person. It really is. But Jon tweeted this. Jon Jones whipped both of y'all. But hey, why not team up on a podcast and gossip about his life? Meanwhile, he's out here making your annual...
And then DC threw another jab. He didn't like Jon flexing his money or looking down on others like him and Chael Sonnen. Because guess what? Daniel was almost picked to coach alongside Jon on a reality show in Thailand. That didn't happen. Nate Diaz took the job and then caused chaos on set. But Cormier, he knows exactly how much Jon was paid for that trip. So all this "I make more than you in a week" talk, yeah, he's not buying it.
In a week. Stay busy, boys. That's what Jon Jones wrote. I'm going to pull the curtain back for you guys. I know what Jon Jones made in Thailand. I was offered to coach this show with Jon Jones in Thailand. Jon Jones's resume is impeccable. Jon Jones's resume matches up, if not exceeds, every...
Cormier made it personal. He said, "I know how much money I make. If that Thailand show had offered me more than what I make in a week from all my jobs, I would have taken it in a heartbeat." He added, "Jon doesn't make more than me in a week. He makes more when he fights." That's it. Cormier's not backing down, and he made one thing clear: Jon's flexes don't impress him. Not one bit.
Business. Jon Jones's star power, his ability to sell, matches up with anybody in the business. Jon Jones and his ability to bring eyes matches up with anybody in the business outside of Conor McGregor. But guess what? Daniel Cormier's resume matches up with anybody in the business. Daniel Cormier brings eyes like people in the business. Daniel Cormier can do and get just about...
Cormier isn't calling Jones a coward, not even close. He knows how good Jon is. He calls him one of the greatest of all time. But he also knows that at some point, the next generation comes. It's just part of the sport. And Tom Aspinall, he's that next generation. Jon should fight him. It's time to give him the shot.
Like you to coach this show opposite Jon Jones, knowing the history, they have to come with a nice offer that would pique my interest. Let's say I turn that down. If that money was more than I make in a year, in a week, with the jobs that I do, wouldn't I have jumped at that opportunity? Nothing would have stopped me from going to get that opportunity. Jon Jones don't make more money than me in a week.
Cormier broke it all down. Jon has beaten every wave of challengers. The old guard, like Vitor Belfort, Shogun Rua, Rampage Jackson. Then the newer names: Rashad Evans, Gustafsson, Cormier himself, Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, Dominic Reyes. He beat them all. Then he moved to heavyweight, took out Cyril Gane, crushed Stipe Miocic. He's done everything. But there's still one more challenge: Tom Aspinall.
Jones makes more money than me when he fights. And that's it. Outside of that, he ain't getting what me and Chael getting from ESPN, The Volume, DraftKings, Total Wireless, Bro Sparks, Monster Energy. I mean, we over here eating. So that's just false. That's false. It's almost like that time the Young Bucks, this wrestling team, said to me, we're selling out arenas. I'm like, well,
Jones has stayed on top longer than anyone imagined, but now there's a new lion at the gates, and he deserves a chance. Tom deserves the shot to prove if he's got what it takes. If Jon truly is the GOAT, then he needs to fight him. That's how this works, and not everyone thinks Jon has that confidence anymore. Monsieur Tate, former UFC champ, had some very strong words.
Well, I definitely believe the fight will happen this year. Seems like Jones is up for it. It seems like the UFC want it to happen. I mean, they said to Tom Aspinall, it's a done deal, it's going to happen. And it would just be such a shame if that fight didn't happen. I think it's going to happen International Fight Week, Las Vegas 2025. But what do I know? I'm not basing that on any inside information. Excuse me. I'm not basing that on any inside information. I know what you know. When Joe Rogan said apparently he wants 30 million.
Tate told Esports Insider, I feel like Jon is ducking Tom. She didn't say it lightly. She respects Jon as a smart, technical fighter. But she also thinks Jon sees Tom as a real danger, and that's making him hesitate. Tate said she's seen the interviews, Jon calling Tom disrespectful, but in her opinion, Tom's been totally respectful, just challenging him.
I hope he gets paid that money. You know, I hope he does, and I hope we get to see the fight. And if it isn't 30 million, maybe it's around that. Maybe it's 20 million, 25, maybe it's more like you say. You know, I think the demand for this fight will be there. I think it's incredible that in this day and age, we're talking about these kind of fight purses being involved in mixed martial arts. I said this in my video. When I started MMA, I'm talking pre-UFC, when I first started like regional level MMA, everybody said, if you're getting into this sport for money, you're in the wrong sport. And I was like...
Tate said it loud and clear. Even if Tom was disrespectful, that's not a reason not to fight someone. Her point, Jon's job as champ is to prove he's the best, and right now, the heavyweight division is frozen. If Jon's done fighting, that's fine, retire, walk away, but if he wants to keep the belt, then he has to fight Tom. No more excuses. Matt Brown compared the situation to Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler, but made one thing clear, Jon hasn't shown any real interest in fighting Tom. But Curtis Blades, another big name, disagrees with the idea that Jon is afraid. He respects what Jon's done, and he won't call him scared. In an interview with Inside Fighting, Blade said, I'm not going to say Jon is scared. That's not fair. He does believe Jon's avoiding the fight for other reasons, like risk versus reward. Blades pointed out that Jon hasn't beaten a real prime heavyweight yet. He beat Gain, who had no ground game. He beat an old, rusty Stipe. But Tom's young, strong, in his prime. If Jon beats him, there's no question. He's the true GOAT. Even if he loses, no shame. Jon's aging. He's not a natural heavyweight, people would understand. Blades added that even if Jon took a loss, it wouldn't ruin his legacy. Bro, we get it, he said. You're older now. You're not a natural heavyweight. You lose, it's okay, but at least, he argued, Jones should take the fight because sitting on the sidelines doesn't help his case. It makes things worse. Blades made it clear he comes from the old school mindset. Fight the best guys you can, he said. See what happens. That's how it's supposed to be. But right now, that's not what he sees from Jon Jones. And things got even murkier when Jon revealed why he hasn't wanted to fight Tom. Apparently, Jon has his sights set on someone else. That someone? Francis Ngannou. Yes. Jon is still talking about that dream fight with Francis, and this whole time, while fans were calling for the Tom Aspinall bout, Jon was calling for Francis instead. That's what really lit the fire under the fans. The moment Jon didn't prioritize the current interim champ, that's when the petition started. And the numbers? They exploded. Over 193,000 people signed a petition demanding the UFC strip Jon Jones of his belt if he didn't agree to fight Tom. The pressure became unbearable. But there's more going on behind the scenes than fans may realize. The man behind many UFC legends, Javier Mendez, has his own theory. The American Kickboxing Academy coach who helped build champions like Khabib, Islam Makhachev, and Daniel Cormier spoke out about the whole situation. Javier Mendez said the UFC will eventually force Jon Jones to choose, fight Tom Aspinall or lose the belt, but that moment hasn't come yet. Behind the scenes, the UFC is still pushing hard for this fight, but according to Mendez, it hasn't been easy. They got him that money, Mendez revealed. He said yes, then no. Now Jones isn't budging. Mendes even suspects Jon may not want to fight at all anymore. But if the UFC strips him too soon, they lose leverage and the build-up that sells pay-per-views. So they're playing the waiting game, hoping he comes around. Then came UFC 316, and Dana White addressed everything. He saw the viral petition, 130,000 signatures out of 400 million fans. That's silly, he said, brushing it off. But he did confirm, yes, Jon agreed to fight Tom. Still, there's a catch. No contract signed yet. And Dana warned fans not to trust online gossip unless it comes from us. Don't believe it. But Dana also made one thing painfully clear. If Jon wants to retire, there's nothing we can do. So here we are, Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. The fight everyone wants. Jon says he's in after a full camp, but until the paperwork's done, it's all talk. This isn't just a fight, it's legacy versus hunger. Old lion, Vo's rising king. And when it happens, it could be the most violent showdown the heavyweight division has ever seen.